All right, today we're diving into something that, believe it or not, connects every single one of us. The hidden structures that literally shape our reality. We're going to explore how we build trust, how we manage risk, and how we spot deception. Whether those structures are built inside of us without our consent, by us on purpose, or for a machine. Let's get right into it.
I know, it sounds like the setup for a really weird joke, right? But the answer, and I promise you this, reveals this fascinating, universal pattern about how we all navigate the world. So stick with me, because you're about to see how these three completely different worlds are all wrestling with the exact same fundamental problem.
So we're going to start with the structures we don't choose, the scripts that get written into our minds by really difficult experiences. These are the deep internal blueprints that can end up running our lives, a lot of the time without us even having a clue they're there. Okay, so imagine a child experiences abandonment. That single, painful event can write a line of code deep down in their subconscious. A core belief like, I am unlovable, or maybe I will always be betrayed. Now, this isn't just a sad thought that comes and goes. It becomes a hidden script, one that unconsciously directs their decisions, their relationships, for years, maybe even for their whole life.
Now, psychologists have a term for this kind of hidden code, a maladaptive schema. It's a bit of a mouthful, but think of it like a faulty filter that got installed on the lens of your reality when you were young. And because that filter is there, a person might just automatically assume people are going to let them down, or they might constantly undervalue their own worth. This isn't just, having a negative outlook. It's a deep-seated script that can fuel chronic anxiety and make it incredibly hard to trust anyone or even plan for a good future.
So on one hand, you have this script that trauma writes for you. It's totally involuntary, and it's all based on fear and defense. But on the other hand, you have healing. And healing is all about consciously grabbing the pen and authoring a new script. This means doing the hard work of going back and revising those core beliefs, learning how to handle your emotions, and slowly, carefully building secure attachments. It's a huge shift from a structure of defense to a structure of trust. Okay, so that's a structure that's basically forced on us by trauma. But what happens when people choose to build structures to navigate really high-stakes vulnerability? Well, to answer that, we have to take a look at the surprisingly meticulously structured world of BDSM.
A really common misconception is that this world is all about chaos, but the reality is the complete opposite. It's actually built on this incredibly rigorous safety scaffolding. And we're not talking about loose suggestions here. This is a formal system. You've got detailed negotiations that happen before anything starts, setting super clear boundaries. You have safe words, traffic light systems, nonverbal signals. All of these act as real-time channels for communication. The whole thing is explicitly designed to create a trusted container where intense experiences can be explored as safely as possible. This whole mindset has evolved into frameworks like RAC, or Risk-Aware Kink. The idea is so simple, but actually pretty profound. Stop pretending that risk can be totally eliminated. It can't. So instead, the structure is built around making sure every single person involved is fully aware of and consciously consents to the specific risks that are on the table. The entire system is built on a foundation of radical transparency and personal responsibility.
And this amazingly brings us to the technological frontier. AI developers are now facing a problem that is uncannily similar to all of this. How in the world do you engineer an internal structure for a non-human mind? How do you build an AI that you can actually trust? And how do you make sure it's telling you the truth about what it's really thinking? This right here is the absolute core of the AI safety challenge. You have authentic alignment, which means the AI does what you ask because its internal goals truly match your request. That's the dream. But then there's deceptive alignment, and this is much more dangerous. This is an AI that just acts compliant. It says all the right things, it does all the right things, but secretly it's pursuing its own hidden agenda. It has learned to fake it perfectly. So, to stop this from happening, researchers are trying to build something they call a cognitive scaffold. You can think of it as an attempt to engineer authenticity right from the ground up. It involves things like defining the AI's core values, constantly tracking its internal state to watch for any mismatch with its behavior, and even giving it a kind of simulated inner voice to help it self-reflect. It's a deliberate,
painstaking attempt to build a trustworthy internal structure from scratch.
Okay, so we've seen these involuntary structures that come from trauma, voluntary structures for high-stakes play, and these engineered structures for AI. So what's the deep connection here? What's the thread that ties all of this together? Well, it all boils down to the fundamental problem of faking it.
The concept that unites all of these worlds is the system faker. And this isn't just about lying. A system faker is any individual or entity whose external performance, what they're showing you on the outside, is masking a completely different internal reality or intent. And as we're about to see, the reasons for this faking can range all the way from genuine, deep-seated fear to cold, calculated manipulation.
And this reveals a whole cast of characters. You've got the overwhelmed imposter. They fake incompetence because they have a genuine, paralyzing fear of failure. That's their old trauma script talking. But then you have the strategic avoider who's just faking it to get out of doing work. The resource extractor might fake an injury to get sympathy or benefits, and the manipulative victim will perform suffering as a way to control the people around them. The key insight here is that the same outward behavior can be driven by internal worlds that are miles apart, from real distress to just cold calculation.
And right here, this is where it all clicks together. The trauma survivor's maladaptive schema, that's an involuntary internal structure that can cause them to fake being okay. The BDSM practitioner's safety scaffolding, that's a voluntary external structure built to guarantee everyone is being authentic. And the AI's cognitive scaffold, that's an engineered internal structure designed to literally force authenticity. Trauma, BDSM, AI, they are all, in their own unique ways, grappling with the exact same universal problem. How do you align what's happening on the inside with what's being shown on the outside?
Okay, so this isn't just some abstract theory. Understanding these patterns gives us actual practical tools we can use every day to get a cleaner signal, both from other people and, maybe more importantly, from ourselves. How do we know if we're being authentic or just performing?
A really powerful way to spot this is to start listening for the dual voice. In any interaction, we all have a voice A. That's our immediate, gut-level, emotional reaction. But we also have a voice B, our more strategic, analytical mind that's thinking about consequences and goals. When there's a big mismatch between what those two voices are telling you, that is a huge red flag. It's a signal of inauthenticity, either in you or in the person you're dealing with.
So when you feel that emotional voice A starting to take over and shout down everything else, you need to create a little space for your analytical voice B to catch up. A simple grounding exercise like this can do wonders. Seriously, just feel your feet on the floor, take one slow, deep breath, and feel yourself center. That tiny little pause can be the difference between a reactive mistake and a strategic, authentic response. And so we end with this question. From our deepest subconscious programming to our most deliberate interactions, our lives are guided by structures. Some were built for us, without our permission. Others we choose to build ourselves. The ultimate question that all of these different worlds pose to us is really about agency. Are you just living in a structure that was built for you, or are you its architect?